We finally have a date. No, I'm not talking about a release date. That would be crazy if that would be the case. But no, we finally have a date when we see more of Warhammer 40k Total War, and that is at Gamescom. We have now the official announcement that the game will not just be there to show it off, but people will actually have the time and hopefully the pleasure to actually play the game themselves. Now, Gamescom is happening at the end of August. Like always, this time it's around the 26th of August, which is a Wednesday, and is going till the 30th of August, which is a Sunday. I think actually the last day is Saturday? No, they actually increased it again till Sunday because Gamescom cannot make up their mind what they actually want. But that's not really the topic here. The topic is that we will finally get hands-on impression, or if you were going to Gamescom yourself, you might be actually able to get your own hands-on impression on the game. And this was a very important milestone because when they announced the game last year, I was kind of hoping that we might actually be able to play the game, and with play I mean release the game this year. But the more the year continued to go on, the more I realized that will not be the case. And now I'm pretty much convinced that 2026 is out of the question when it comes to the release date. And it's a much bigger question now when we're hopefully seeing the game in 2027. Because the less information we are getting in 2026, the more it probably means that the game will be postponed or, well, in development till mid, if not even end of 2027. But how do we get there? Like, what is my thought process here? Well, as somebody who has worked in the gaming industry for over a decade now and has been playing video games for a long time, I know that developers are always like, oh yeah, we are just making our decisions depending how we feel on it. And it's like, no, there are calendars, there are plans. You are not living in a vacuum and you know that. But the reality is, when you are looking at the game itself, then we haven't really seen much. Right? Like, let's face it, we got the announcement trailer, and then we got some artworks, which is nice. Then we got a quick flyby on a few battlefields, which I think nobody ever questioned that Total War will have a problem with that or that needs an extra explanation. And then in June, with the Summer Games Fest, we finally got a glimpse at gameplay with developers talking over it. And then we had, just last week, we had the Bilibili Worlds, which was an event in China, where they basically showed the uncut video, which was 6 minutes and something long. Well, this was, of course, cut down because the battle took much longer, but it was without developers talking over the whole video and basically cutting to the developers all the time instead of showing us the gameplay. But nonetheless, the point is, this is still the same gameplay they showed before, and I don't blame them. They are probably not that far that they really want to show everything because they don't know what changes, what would be different, and they want to make sure that what they show to us is definitely in the game. So I totally get them. I'm not blaming them. But the reality is, we got the Imperial Guard, we got the Orcs, which is nice, and we didn't probably see the full army. We only saw a few units, and we are still missing the Space Marines, even though we had a very, very 5-second glimpse in the announcement trailer, but that doesn't really count. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, the one thing which is completely missing are the Eldar. We know that the Eldar are in the game. We have seen and heard nothing about them. And it's like, oh boy. So this will take a while till we are getting there. And that's only one component. I know that probably this is something Creative Assembly will show last because they think it's boring and this is not what they want to show off. But let's not forget, Total War is a turn-based game experience. It's a 4X game, and people love the world map. People love the turn-based game, which Total War is. And we haven't seen anything about it. Yeah, sure, we saw the planet system and they talked a little bit about it, but let's be honest here, that could have been an email, so to speak, and in reality, we are far away from knowing and understanding how this works, especially because Total War Warhammer40k is running under the new engine and will be one of the 2 Total War games, which will make some drastic changes on how the world map works. And we didn't have that happen since, oh gosh, I think since they switched from 2D world maps to 3D world maps with Rome. And this will be like one of the biggest changes. Like, it will be gigantic to talk about, like, all the changes which are happening on the world map and how it will actually function. So with all that said, you look at the calendar and you realize, whoa, this is the end of July. Keep in mind that also July is always the month where a lot of developers are taking a break, or the end of June, right? So everything slows down anyways. And we don't even have a release year, nor like a release month locked in. And let's say they are now like starting to work again a lot in August. Then they showcase the game by the end of August with the Orcs and the Imperial Guard at Gamescom. And then we are still missing all the things I just mentioned. And that's the end of August. That means we have September, we have October, and then that's it. And you might be thinking, wait, what do you mean that's it? Well, there is still November and December. Yeah, but December is not really the month where a lot of games are releasing. The only time where they do release is at the beginning of December, and then everyone is basically taking their breaks and leaves till the next year. And then we have November, right? The biggest month of the year. The problem is, this year it's kind of different because GTA 6 is coming out. And I can hear you already. I don't give a shit about that game. Why would I care? It's a completely different game, a completely different genre. Yeah, you are absolutely right. But it's still GTA 6. And the reality is, you, me included by the way, does not care about the game. But A, a big portion of the gamers do. And B, streamers, content creators, magazines, PR companies, and everyone else who is doing like something in that vicinity will care for it. Oh, they do care for it, because I can tell you already that they're talking about it nonstop and what they're planning to do about it. Like, as somebody who works in PR and also who is a content creator, I can tell you it's the talk of the town, where everyone is discussing how they will manage the November and how, like, even some games and studios are trying to not be in that blast radius. So again, you might not give a shit about it, but everyone else does. And so November, starting November, they will try not to be in the vicinity of that release. And then the whole month of November till even the beginning of December, it will all just be, what would GTA 6 do? Right? And like, putting that together with everything we have talked about, yeah, this game is not coming out this year. But what's with next year? Well, see, here's the thing. It really depends on how much information we are now getting in the next 6 months. If we are getting actually much more information than we have gotten in the first half of this year, then we might be lucky and we might see the game around March next year. But the longer they take, the longer they also realize they need more time. I wouldn't put it past them if we are not seeing the game till maybe May next year. And then depending on certain circumstances, of course, which you never can plan for. So we are still way off till we are finally be able to play the game. And yes, last but not least, I have forgotten to mention that there is still the beta, right? The beta is also still happening at some point. We don't even know what's part of the beta. I do assume it would just be battles, and we will not see the turn-based map at all. But nonetheless, that is also still supposed to happen at some point this year. Again, we don't know when. But yeah, so I don't see this game releasing before March, and that's fine. But it is definitely something to consider here and to temper your expectations. That's basically the point here. But nonetheless, I will definitely make some more videos when we are finally getting some actually tangible information and not just, hey, I've just heard from my uncle working at Nintendo. That's not what I'm doing here. So if you enjoy this type of content where there's actually something tangible and not something you have to like make up on the fly, then I would appreciate if you might leave a like under the video and consider to subscribe. We are also focusing on other strategy games here. This is a channel completely about strategy games, management, building games, you know, everything where you have to use strategy and a little bit of management and thought process is what we are focusing here on the Mole Under Management channel. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.